All right. My UI is a little funny. Does it look like it's recording right now? Okay. All right. This is the Tinkerbell contributor meeting for the US Thanksgiving holiday week of November 24th, week 15. We have very few items on the agenda today. I'll be your host, Marcus Johansson. And one of the few folks, yeah, if you're in the meeting, join the attendee list so that we can hold you accountable for anything you may say in the future. And while you're doing that, we only have one topic on the board right now, which is Gianluca talking about the sandbox.
Yeah, I mean, I just placed mine there because the agenda was empty, so I say I'm just gonna place something in there. I mean, this week I worked on the binary release, or binary release for Sandbox. So Sandbox is the place where we glue all the various Tinker components together, and it was natural, at least at this stage, where we don't really have like a good story for each component releasing itself. The idea was to use Sandbox as a entry point for our release. So if you open the link, there is a release page that contains a note that I wrote manually this time because I don't know yet how it should look like, but it also has like a long list of binaries for various architecture for all the components. So the idea is that from now on, we do not ship only Docker containers that are multi-arch as well, but also binaries. And the workflow is very simple. There is code in Sandbox that based on the version pin in Sandbox itself, in the file current version.sh, it's in the root. So the script use those variables to figure out where to locate the Docker images, and the Docker images are built from each repository. And yeah, like there is a script that use like libraries written in Go to manipulate registries, and it downloads the registry, the image, and it strips the container out and move the container to the release page. So that's really what it does. You can find the code in the CMD get binaries. Yeah. If you want to check it out, but yeah, that's mainly it. So not really. I mean, it is the quickest and dirtiest way to have a release. So from there, it can only be better, but at least we have it. Yeah, even Docker image is probably what the file you're looking for main. Yeah. Nothing fancy, but works. Just download images for all the architectures and strip the binaries out to the release page. That's it.
I'm so like shell script biased that I look at all this Go code and I'm like, this probably could have been 2 lines of shell code to extract the.
Yeah, I mean, I just prefer to write Go code. So.
Yeah, it's easier to test. And cool. So the binaries that are being artifacted here are the exact same images that are inside of the Docker containers that we're shipping.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I think in the past we've tried to go the other way, like build the binary and then make the container based on like an artifacted binary. I don't know if that was in a project here or in a different project, but it's difficult. And so this kind of makes sense. Like it's just easier to, you're already building a container. There's a build process involved there. Just take advantage of that after the fact and rip the archive out.
Yeah, it's also easier because we can leave responsibility to the single projects to do their own release cycle. We know that we need an image with that location of the binary, and I mean the project itself, like the various like Hegel or Boots or Tink, they are able to have their own cycle. I don't really care at this stage. I just know that as soon as I have an image that I know where the binary is located in the file system, we're good to go.
Cool. And how often will the sandbox publish those? Is that only when you decide to stamp it? Is it's part of the release hook, the CI release hook, or is it a
Yeah,
manual process right now?
no, it's everything in CI/CD. So when you push a tag, you kick um, the workflow. Um, I think there is a proposal about releasing, and in there we kind of, I mean, the proposal says that like it's a quarterly kind of cadence, but we don't have a date, so it's mainly uh, you know us saying, okay, there is a big drift in code, so let's do a release. But we don't have really a strict schedule yet.
Very cool. The next on the list is the event-driven Tink implementation update.
Yep. We have been working on the event-driven architecture for quite some time now, and it was kind of in a halt state because of a issue that I was facing, and I was not able to figure out the root cause. Finally, this morning I was able to solve it, and now I can wrap it up. The good thing is by end of this week, probably the next time we talk, I would rather demo something which is absolutely in working state. It partially is now. I just need to run a few tests and it would be ready to merge.
Cool. Do you need any kind of eyes on that in its current state?
The PR is actually already reviewed by and actually was actually approved for merge. I intermittently faced an issue and thought of digging it deeper, and finally I could fix it. So I will open the PR tomorrow for a review again, and yeah, I'll be happy to have any eyes on it.
All right. Yeah, you'll be bumping into U.S. holidays there, but
Yeah.
yeah, next week sounds good.
Okay. Good. Really excited to get this merged so that we can proceed ahead and finally get our workflows based on event. So, yep, excited about this.
A lot of work. Very cool. Uh, Aman.
Uh, yes. So there's an issue opened by, I guess, Kelly, or maybe that we are right now deleting the template softly. So whenever a user deletes a template, we actually mark it as a delete, but it still remains in the database because uh, if there's a workflow which was created through this template, so whenever you if you delete the template hard, or maybe if you delete the template from the table, then in that case you will not be able to get that workflow, that what I executed earlier, or maybe what are the steps I executed as a part of the workflow. So that's why we keep that template in the database. So but there is an issue for that. So right, so now we have make the name of a template unique. So now if you delete a template and then you try to create the template with the same name, then it actually get fails. So I'm able to fix it. It is just like on the conflict of name, you have to override the existing template. But there are a couple of things that I would like to discuss here in the community. The first one is the memory issue, because if we will not delete a template uh, forever, then in that case the memory will pile up, right? The templates are gonna pile up, and then it's gonna take memories and all. So as per the user point of view, user will not be able to uh, delete any of the template from the database. It just like soft delete. uh, so first issue is that, and the second issue is if we override uh, the existing template which is marked as deleted, and now we are creating the new one with the same name, so we will be overriding the existing template. So in that case, the workflow which were created using the previous definition of the template will be overridden with the newer version of the template. So these things I would like to discuss. That I would like to get the opinions from you guys. So Kelly also dropped me a message regarding the same, that she had an internal discussion with I guess with some Jason. I guess I'm not sure.
James.
Yeah. So yeah. So in that, so there's the issue. That's the thing. That's the thing I would like to discuss. Uh, that so when do you guys think we should delete a template permanently from the database?
Kelly, since you were mentioned here, would you like to uh, start off with your view on this?
Yeah, I mean all Aman's points were valid. Like that was the thoughts I had as well. But Aman, do you remember why name was marked? I mean changed to unique?
Yes. So there was, I'm not sure. So initially we were having a discussion with Nathan and Nathan and Manny in the initial days, when we were designing all these like tables in the database. So in that case, the name was kept unique, but it was somehow so initially it was implemented as unique, but when I think the code was restructured, the database code, I think that got missed out, I think. And that so I think so I fixed that again and make the name unique. So making the name unique is like, for example, if you have two templates, for example, one is for Ubuntu, one is for CentOS, so you will definitely will not name the template as the same, right? So it's just like to identify that this template belongs to Ubuntu provisioning, or this template belongs to CentOS provisioning, something like that. So that's why we kept the name as unique.
I remember the initial discussions that we had with uh, Nathan, Manny, and Mike. Mike
Yeah.
was there. So the reasons why we switched to having single names for each template was because we were listing the templates with template list, and we do not want the user to remember each template with its ID. So we thought it would be definitely nice to for a user to uniquely identify them with their names, and that was the core reason why we went with unique names. Now coming to the points which you both have already raised and discussed, I think it's more of our call how we want to tackle it. Because if I'm a user, it's to me it sounds like, you know what, you do whatever you want to do, but you actually can't delete a template. That's it. And as a user, I think I should have the freedom to, you know, delete, do a hard delete. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. We will have to do hard delete, because if we will not, then it's gonna like pile up the memory like hell, right? If a user creates kept on creating a template, then the database is gonna take a lot of memory, right? So hard delete will be required, but the point is at at which point of time, like when you so we can provide an option, or like a flag, that user wants to delete this template. And but my point is, what is the time, or like what is the event, not event, what is the action at which uh, the we should say, okay, now delete this template hard hardly, basically remove this row from the database, and it will not affect any of the things you have, like. So because right now deleting a template affects the workflows which were created with that template.
Yeah, that's actually the root, that the issue that we need to solve.
Yes, so that's the
So
thing that we need to solve. Um,
any takes, Marcus, Jamie?
I mean, I could think of various approaches to this. I'm kind of disconnected from the problem, but a few different approaches would be that there could be a version stamp associated with the name. So this is Hello New World version 1, version 2, version 3. And then when you have to delete something, you have to remove, or you have to delete it with, if you were going to look it up, you would look it up with the tag.
Hmm.
Ultimately, things would be keyed on the ID, but if you're going to do a lookup, look up name and version. An alternate is we have a created date, an updated date. We could have a deleted date. And so the delete date could be uh, it, a surrogate for a status field, essentially, a status that would indicate that this is a template that is like marked for deletion or is no longer available or not available for certain purposes, but can still be consumed for the sake of fulfilling a workflow. Um, so all of my thoughts involve adding another field, whether it's a flag field, a date field, a version
Yeah,
field.
I
Other than that, yeah,
I
yeah.
agree with going with the version approach. I think it would be much more stable because in our previous call, Aman also raised a proposal which is in the proposals repo about versioning our templates. So I think doing that would solve two problems at a time. One will be this: if we could version our template and then mark it as delete, it could be so. Meaning, if you do a get workflow, it will still give you the template which is be used to create that workflow, but you cannot use that template to recreate another workflow because now it's marked as deleted or it's flagged as being deleted.
And if we're worried about the storage space, we could take like a garbage collector approach to it and say, well, this is marked for deletion and there are no workflows that are consuming
Yep.
it.
Then
Now it's safe to delete it. You can end up with
correct.
orphans, but
Yep.
that's, an admin's responsibility, I guess, to clean
Yep.
that up.
So templates are not that huge. So we may not be so concerned about the storage, but the primary reason of thinking about this is how the workflow get is affected if we delete a template. The other issue by versioning the template is solved is the proposal that Aman had in the previous call, which is
so
changing the schema of
yeah.
the template, which is actually going to affect our users. So adding a version, I mean, the version actually is there in the template right now, but it's not being used anyway. So taking that into consideration, I think that solves two problems at a time.
Gaurav, I have a bit of different opinion for that
Hmm.
because
Yep.
uh, so right now we are, so the proposal I raised, that because of so that user should be able to use the previous or older template, right? So that's the versioning is for that. So if you like, uh, for example, if you create a same schema, like, the template with the same schema and a same name, so that should not be a different version, right? That should be a same version, that the version of that template should be same.
I think you would have to specify what version you wanted. You would, instead of being a create operation, it would be an update operation. And
Yeah, so
I don't know if update is supported
no,
currently
is
in the
there,
It
it's
is.
API.
there. So
Okay.
actually it's there, it's created is there, deleted is there, updated is there. So so each and every column we have in the template. So the problem is not like how you delete the template. The problem is uh, how you can basically uh, not affect the workflows which were created, so which were created using the template which you are going to delete. So what I'm thinking is right now, that if user is trying to create delete a template, okay, then before deleting that template, we should need to check that if there is a workflow which is still in pending state, right, as not completed, not failed, or not timed out, it's just non pending state, and user want to delete the template, then I will not allow it to deleting that particular template. And if all the workflows related to that template are completed or failed, or like in whatever state instead of pending state, then I will be able to I should remove the template.
So so you're offering that because this versioning discussion is ongoing, you're looking for an immediate solution, and the immediate solution is to just block deletes.
No,
Is
see,
is
it's
that
the versioning, the template versioning proposal is completely different from this bug, right? This bug is a bit, it's completely different. So this bug is something like a user cannot uh, create the template with the same name even after deleting the template, right? So because I have marked the name field as unique in the in the SQL script, basically PSQL script,
right?
and we are using the soft delete. The row is still there with the same name, so that's why it will not be. It's not able to create a template. So we will be doing it, changing it, and on the conflicting name, we will be updating the template, or something like that. But before updating or deleting any template, we have to keep in mind, or we have to make sure that there is no workflow which is in pending state for that particular template.
Right. As far as the unique key constraint goes, if we introduce version, then the key would be on name and version, and so we would avoid that problem to an extent. But if you tried to delete a name version that was in use, we would have the same problem, right? Um,
Yep. Yep.
deleting, deferring deletes gets us around this problem. Blocking deletes uh, also gets us out of this problem. But what do we lose something by by blocking deletes? Do we get the potential for things to be orphaned because we don't have the client's not expecting to come back and delete things later? Are we concerned about that? Is this something that we're going to fix when we revisit versioning? Are we looking for a short term solution that versioning would be the long term solve for?
So versioning is completely different. Versioning is for like, so as per the proposal number 13 raised by Manny, we are going to change the schema of a template completely, right? So we are going to add new fields in the templates, or maybe in future we may delete few things in basically templates. So in that case, the versioning will work to parse the templates, or you know, yeah. So you can go to the file and change it there.
So
Yeah. So in this template, you can see the services field are being added, right? Which is not there in the previous template. So I was supposed to have this template, the version number 0.2, so that as per the version, we can parse it, or we can use it in the Go code whenever wherever required, right? Because right now we are not having any service field in our structure. So this versioning is for that. Uh, and the issue now I'm talking about, the 363 is completely different from these two things.
Could we do one thing, Aman? Could we? I mean, I see this your change. I agree with your approach, but there are certain things that we might miss out while we are discussing it. So I was thinking maybe if we could draft a proposal with your approach, send it, because this is going to affect two areas. That is, one is templates, how they are being deleted, plus the workflows, how they are being get by existing users and the new users. So those two CLIs will be affected. So I was thinking maybe, and it could be a BC break. So how about drafting a proposal with your approach? Let tag Marcus or Gianluca, maybe Nathan as well, because he was initially in the discussions. Kelly and Dan, let's take it there. So anyone who has any suggestions could drop in there.
Sure, I can do that.
So that the reason I say this, because we definitely don't want to do something a small fix right now. And I know you are not also trying to do a small fix or quick fix. We want to solve this once and
Yeah,
for all. So let's do
definitely.
it that way. If that is okay with everyone, for sure.
Right. Sounds like a solid approach.
Cool.
All right, so a proposal for that.
Yeah.
That'd be great. And if not, I mean, if not now, then we definitely need some more discussion going on in this to reflect the state that we're at now.
Yeah.
But if you create a proposal, just link it out.
Right.
Yep,
And
right.
we won't have to just think about what was the reason that we did it this way. So it's nice to have everything documented, since we have, for good sake, we have proposals.
Yeah,
All right.
sure, I can write a proposal on that.
Yep. Awesome. And let's take it up, Aman. Let's take it up tomorrow as well.
Sure.
Let's discuss it and nail it down.
Yeah.
All right. With that, we're at the end of the list. So if anybody else has something that they want to contribute, now's the time. All right. So ends this session, and see you all again next week.
See ya.
Thank you. Bye bye.